Yes, welcome back to the session. In this video, I'm going to discuss about NEET and JEE application. That is, two bodies of masses M1 and M2 are connected by massless string on the inclined plane. Okay, so look at the inclined plane diagram here. So this is the mass M1 which is connected with the help of massless string, and here this is mass M2 which is located on the inclined plane. Okay, so we know that whatever it may be the position of the object, the total weight of the object, that means the first body weight means m1g, which is acting vertically downward direction. So this string having tension, that tension is acting upward direction. Okay, and here this is the second body, right? The second body weight, that is m2g, which is acting downward direction, and this body is balanced by a normal reaction which is exactly perpendicular to the plane surface. Okay, so if we extend a line in backward direction, this line makes an angle theta with respect to m2g. So we can write it as this is m2g cos theta. If this is m2g cos theta means perpendicular component, I mean this one will be m2g sin theta. Okay, so here m2g sin theta is acting on the inclined plane in this direction, so tension will be acting in this direction. Okay, so according to the statement, clearly I mentioned mass of the first object is greater than the mass of the second object. Okay, so that means whenever the first body mass is more, definitely this first object will comes downward direction with some acceleration a. Okay, so in that case m1g is more as compared to the tension, so we can write it as m1g minus tension is equal to m1a. Let us assume this is equation number 1. Okay, so whenever the first body is coming downward direction, then automatically the second body is moving on the inclined plane in this direction with some acceleration a, right? So whenever the second body is moving up like this, tension is maximum as compared to the m2g sin theta. So in that case we can write it as tension minus m2g sin theta is equal to m2a. Let us assume this is equation number 2. Now add 1 and 2. If we add means this minus t and plus t cut, the rest of the equation is m1g minus m2g sin theta is equal to m1a plus m2a. So m1a plus m2a. Okay, so this expression we can write it as, look at here left side, g is the common term, right? Take it outside. So m1 minus m2 sin theta into g is equal to, right side acceleration is the common term, right? So m1 plus m2 into a. So from this equation easily we can calculate acceleration of the system, right? So bring this acceleration left side, a is equal to m1 minus m2 sin theta into g by m1 plus m2. So this is the acceleration of the system. Okay, let us assume this is equation number 3. So after getting this acceleration, next we are going to calculate how much tension was acting in the string. Okay, so to calculate the tension we will use the second equation of motion, I mean second equation, this one. So what is the second equation here? T minus m2g sin theta is equal to m2a, right? So what I am doing here, this minus m2g sin theta term I am taking right side. Let's see what will happen. Therefore t is equal to m2g sin theta plus m2a. Okay, so here equation number 3 will be there. So this acceleration formula I am going to substitute here. So just a second, I will go for next slide. Yes, so I'm going to write the same equation. T is equal to m2g sine theta plus m2a. So acceleration equation we know, right? So I'm writing here m2g sine theta plus m2 into acceleration equation is m1 minus m2 sine theta into g. So we can write it as m1 minus m2 sine theta divided by m1 plus m2 into g. Okay, so now what I'm doing here, actually this g is multiplied with m1, g is multiplied with m2, so I'm going for next step. So the denominator m1 plus m2 is there, no? Correct or not? Let's see the step. So m2g sine theta plus this m2 is multiplied with m1, so m2 m1 into this g, minus will be there, so minus m2 is multiplied with m2, so m2 square, g will be there, g sine theta divided by m1 plus m2. Okay, so here in denominator term m1 and m2 which is multiplied with this term. Let's see. So first m1 is multiplied with m2, so that means m1 m2 g sine theta, so plus will be there, plus m2 into m2 means m2 square g sine theta, here again plus will be there, plus m1 m2 g minus m2 square g sine theta divided by m1 plus m2. So look at this equation carefully. This plus m2 square g sine theta and this minus m2 square g sine theta cut. The rest of the equation is here m1 m2 g sine theta, m1 m2 g sine theta plus m1 m2 g divided by m1 plus m2. Okay, so what is the common term here? m1 m2 is common term, right? So we can write it as, take it common term outside, m1 m2 into 1 plus g sine theta, sorry, just a second. Yes, so here m1 m2 and here also m1 m2, so m1 m2 into 1 plus sine theta, because here also g will be there, here also g will be there, so g also take it outside, divided by m1 plus m2. So this is the tension developed in the string. Okay, so I hope you understand. Thank you so much.